Kokkuri is a manic-depressed fox spirit with suicidal tendencies. Kohina is an emotionless little robot girl that lives all alone for some reason. Are her parents dead? And how the hell does she pay for living expenses? I don't know, but should I just stop trying to reason and roll with it? I think so. Anyway, Inugami is a male. No, wait, a female. No, wait, a male. I don't know. It's a dog spirit that just wants to be loved. And when they get together, who knows what'll happen. What's up, everybody? So, today I'm going to be talking about an anime called Gugure Kokkuri-san for Anime Club. Gugure Kokkuri-san revolves around this girl named Kohina Ichimatsu, and it all starts out with her playing this Kokkuri game, which is essentially like kind of like a Japanese form of Ouija. The catch is that you're not supposed to play this game by yourself, or else you will be haunted by the Kokkuri spirit. And of course Kohina's playing this game by herself, so Kokkuri shows up and basically decides, like, now I'm going to start haunting you, and that's where this all starts. Gugure Kokkuri-san is supposed to be more of a comedy type anime, and it's very apparent from the beginning. Kokkuri-san is a fox spirit. His character is very overly emotional, which you really expect to see in a comedic type anime, but what works so well is that Kohina is the exact opposite. He seems to be a doll with no emotions, and the two interact well together, and it leads to some very good comedy. Pretty quickly a relationship seems to form between the two. Kokkuri used to be worshipped a long time ago, but his shrine has since fell into ruin, and you find out later that Kohina was the only person that ever visited his shrine once it fell into ruin, and pretty much he's been stalking her ever since. And then she plays the Kokkuri game, and this is kind of his in. And he's kind of obsessed with her, and he essentially becomes like a guardian type character for her, and the two work well together, and he kind of tries to teach her how to have emotion, and they kind of form that connection with each other. There are a few weird moments though. There are actually two moments that in particular that were kind of like, wait a minute, and one of them involves Kokkuri. Pretty much right after he starts living there, she summons him again. She's playing the Kokkuri game. Pretty much every time somebody does it, he has to go. And he was taking a shower. He comes out. He's like in a towel, and then he strangely starts to flirt with her. And then, of course, she picks up the phone and calls the police. And then the next scene, he's being taken away. It was kind of funny when I first saw it, but then I actually stopped to think about it. I'm like, I don't know, that was weird, because it doesn't fit with what they end up doing with this character, making him more of a guardian, so it's not like he's in love with her. It kind of veers off in a weird direction. This happens again when we're introduced to the next character named Inugami, which is a dog spirit that, once again, when he was actually alive as a dog, Kohina was the only one that really showed him kindness, and then apparently he was sacrificed for some sort of ritual, and now he's a dog spirit. And it's weird too, because he doesn't remember what gender he was, so he'll turn from a guy to a girl back and forth. But the odd moment in particular is he's also obsessed with Kohina, and he's in love with her, and he pretty much wants to marry her. And I don't know if the subtitles were right, but he wanted to make sexy time with her. I don't know, that was weird for me, because it's I'm used to seeing that kind of stalker love thing in anime, but never in this way. Usually it's girls obsessed with a guy, but even then it's the age differences are. She's a little girl. It's weird. It's kind of off-putting, and I think it's a little extreme. I feel like this anime, they try to go a little more extreme with the jokes, a little more darker humor, but it's still kind of not right. When you actually stop and pay attention, it doesn't you're that's kind of fucked up. That doesn't make sense. Eventually, Inugami and Kokkuri kind of become rivals, kind of duking it out, trying to gain Kohina's affection, which she doesn't have any because she's a robot girl. and it just kind of leads to some, once again, some hilarious moments. And I'm not really sure where this story is going to go at this point. I know that a bunch of other spirits are going to end up coming to the house. You can tell because of the intro, but I've only watched the first 2 episodes, so kind of getting a feel for the story overall is hard at this point. But I think that the main story is going to revolve around Kohina kind of growing up and becoming a person and like having emotion and kind of having friends and kind of learning about that. But as far as the comedic elements in this show, like I said, there are some really funny moments, and Kohina and Kokkuri especially work well together because of their back and forth. And then you have Kokkuri and Inugami fighting back and forth over Kohina's attention. So it does lead to a lot of funny moments. There are a few other funny aspects to the characters, mainly Kokkuri-san and Inugami. They're both spirits, but they don't act like spirits would act. It's mainly because like they're physical people and they have to like walk around. In the first episode, you see when Kokkuri-san first shows up, he like opens the window of the room she's in, and he's like breathing heavy because he had to run there. And I just thought that was a real funny way to do these characters. Inugami, when he shows up to her house, he actually has to break in and he picks the lock on the back door to get into the house. And it's just, which I think is very funny. I like the way that it does that instead of having them be like ghosts and being able to go through walls and all that stuff.